Buenas tardes, Los Angeles. Larry Elder here, the sage from South Central, the Prince of Pico Union, the Czar of Common Sense, the great Eldersky, Don Lorenzo. Welcome to the program. No Victocrats allowed because we've got a country to save. So let's get her teed up!
You want to play rock? Say hello to my little friend!
What the hell's going on out here?
Ooh, that's a bingo.
And I am Larry Elder, absolutely quite positively no S. Our number, 818-353-1276. That's 818-353-1276. Again, we do the show live from noon until 2 p.m. The show is also broadcast again on CRN Talk on Channel 5 at 3 o'clock and again at 5 o'clock. I'm also on terrestrial radio in Los Angeles on AM 870, The Answer, from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. Obviously, you can't call in then because we won't. That show has been rebroadcast from an earlier show of the day. But if you have anything to say based upon something I said, maybe you disagree, maybe you want to add something to it, maybe you've got a criticism, you can drop me a line at larryeldershow@gmail.com. That's larryeldershow@gmail.com. If you didn't get any of that down, you can just go to my blog, elderstatement.com, and everything there you'll find. Now, we're learning more and more about Mr. Vester Lee Flanagan, a.k.a. Bryce Williams. But before I get into telling you some of that, apparently I've gotten some nasty responses from Charles Blow. Charles Blow is a columnist with the New York Times, one of these Victocrat columnists. I call him Victocrat columnist because he's one of those who sees racism under every rock, who views the world through race-tinted glasses, not unlike people like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and Eric Holder. And rather than have a critique about anything I've said, he says that Larry is just trying to get paid. I guess he works for free for the New York Times. I mean, honestly, you can't deal with what I say and address it without attacking me personally. I mean, it's just this guy writes for the New York Times. I mean, it's like when that professor Henry Louis Gates was confronted by the Cambridge police officer because somebody called 911 because Gates had come back from vacation and forgotten his house key. Until he broke into his own home. A neighbor saw it. She was concerned. She called 911, as you'd like a neighbor to do. And the police show up promptly, as you'd like them to do. And they see this man in this house. And the officer politely asked him to come out and show ID. And rather than do that, Henry Louis Gates said, I'll come out when your mom is out there, or something like that. I mean, these are people that you'd expect to behave in a much more dignified fashion. Instead, they act like street thugs. And this guy, Charles Blow, well, Larry just getting paid, y'all. I mean, really? So you work for free? You donate your check from the New York Times to the charity of your choice, and you live in a cardboard box on Skid Row? Really? How about dealing with what I say? What did I say that's offensive to you? It's not true that a lot of blacks are trained to think like victims. It's not true that the Black Lives Matter movement is built upon a bunch of lies. It's not true that Michael Brown did not have his hands up and did not say don't shoot and was not running away. Turns out he was running toward Officer Darren Wilson, as was indicated by the forensic evidence and by the eyewitnesses, several of whom happen to be black. What did I say that was false? Please tell me. Tell me. I'd like to know. Instead, it's not true that Eric Holder has said that pernicious racism was voter ID, even though the majority of blacks support that. Am I wrong about that? What am I wrong about? Tell me. Tell me. I mean, honestly. The other thing I find fascinating about this